Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm your host, and today we're looking at a stack of sources that, frankly, paint a picture of something I don't think we've ever seen before.
Hi, everyone. I'm the resident expert. And yeah, unprecedented is definitely the right word. It's a complete collision between the White House and the blockchain.
Right, so we are talking about World Liberty Financial, or WLFI. And our mission for today is to impartially unpack how a sitting U.S. president and his family are launching a DeFi protocol while simultaneously overseeing the federal regulators who actually police it.
Which creates this fascinating anomaly. You have the executive branch essentially operating a venture within a sector it regulates. I mean, the organizational chart alone is just wild. It lists Donald Trump as chief crypto advocate and his 19-year-old son, Barron, as the DeFi visionary.
With Eric and Don Jr. stepping in as Web3 ambassadors. And the stated goal here is bridging traditional finance with decentralized Web3 architecture. But looking at the foundational document, the gold paper, that decentralized branding hits a pretty hard wall.
It really does. The revenue model outlined there is incredibly centralized. The document shows 75% of net protocol revenues and 60% of operational revenues are allocated straight to DT Mark's DeFi LLC.
Which is the Trump affiliate. So while the marketing emphasizes financial freedom, the plumbing funnels the majority of profits directly back to the founders. And despite a rocky start with technical crashes and missing their initial $1.5 billion valuation target, they still raised $550 million.
Right. It's a massive war chest to play with. Let's break down what they're actually building with that money, because there are two distinct assets here, the WLFI token and the USD1 stablecoin.
The WLFI token is basically the governance layer, right?
Yeah, originally these were non-transferable. They were locked in a lockbox, but investors eventually voted to unlock them for liquidity.
But there is a catch to prevent centralized dominance, a 5% cap on the voting power for any single wallet.
Exactly. Which brings us to the actual product, the USD1 stablecoin. In a crypto market that's usually obsessed with high yields and crazy derivatives, this stablecoin looks surprisingly boring.
Boring, but safe. It's fiat collateralized, meaning for every digital dollar, there is a real U.S. Treasury bill or cash sitting in a vault at BitGo.
And that boring nature is the whole strategy. It's verified by Chainlink's proof of reserves. They are contrasting this against competitors like Athena's USDD, which uses synthetic derivatives to generate high yields, but carries way higher risk.
WLFI is playing the safety card to court institutional money, rather than retail gamblers. But this is where the sources highlight what they call a centralization paradox.
Right, because they call it DeFi, but the infrastructure suggests an unusual amount of control. They didn't build a lending protocol from scratch. They just deployed an instance of AHA v3 on Ethereum.
Basically copy-pasting popular lending code, but keeping the admin keys. And the smoking gun on that control was the September 2025 phishing attack,
where the protocol unilaterally froze wallets and burned tokens to stop the hackers. In true decentralized finance, code is law, and you generally can't just intervene like that.
But here they proved they have a kill switch.
Yeah.
And the Justin Sun incident really drove the point home.
Right. Sun held about $107 million in WLFI, but the protocol blacklisted his wallet to prevent him from farming yields.
They effectively said, we see your money, but we aren't letting you play on our platform. It creates a highly permissioned system masquerading as an open one.
You can play, but only if the House invites you. But the thing is, for institutions, that permission nature is actually a feature, not a bug.
Look at the strategic moves they're making. The over-the-counter deal with Hut 8 was huge.
Hut 8 bought 100 million tokens at a 25% premium over the market price. You don't pay 25% extra for arbitrage.
No, you pay it for alignment. It suggests institutions are betting on the political capital behind the project. They are buying access.
And they are moving into real-world assets, too, partnering with Dar Global to tokenize the Trump International Hotel in the Maldives.
Which builds a business model that seemingly relies heavily on regulatory favor. And the regulatory landscape has definitely shifted.
With Project Crypto under SEC Chair Paul Atkins moving from regulation by enforcement to accommodation. Plus, the Genius Act specifically benefits fiat-backed stablecoins like USD1.
It creates a massive regulatory moat. WLFI isn't trying to win through better code. They are leveraging a political superstructure to protect the operation.
So it creates a dynamic where the token price might just include a political premium.
Now, obviously, we are just reporting what the sources say here, not endorsing any political views, but it leaves you wondering, is this model the future of compliant banking, or is it a conflict of interest migrated to the blockchain?
That is the big question. Is it the new standard for finance, or the ultimate insider trade.
Exactly. And it pushes you to ask, what happens when the lines between national monetary policy and private protocol governance blur entirely on a public ledger?
Definitely something for you to chew on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.